Many people actually feel trapped in a good life at age 45. You've achieved external success. You have what others might consider a good life, but something's missing. According to convention, you should feel self-assured, confident, like a winner. But instead, you feel flat, empty, and lost. Do any of the following seem familiar to you? You harbour doubts about your career or your relationships, which you keep to yourself. You've chased financial and material growth, but the fulfilment has not arrived. Your life seems performative rather than substantial. You wonder how you could have got it so wrong for so many years. It feels like it may be too late now to change trajectory. Although you might feel alone in your concerns, there are a lot of people who feel the same way and who battle with the same questions. The cliches of existential vacuums at or approaching midlife, although oversimplified, are cliches for a reason. What is a midlife existential crisis? Existential crises are not disorders, they are reactions to transitions, adjustments to new conditions, or evolved personal truths. Midlife is one such transition point that can prompt us to pivot life direction in awareness of connection, impermanence, and legacy, for example. This process can be conscious, but often it sits below the membrane of awareness. Things subtly shift. The things that we find valuable and important might begin to alter without understanding exactly why. You might inexplicably begin to feel detached from the person you thought you were. This can be extremely disconcerting and destabilizing. When you're motivated by praise, rewards, competition, or avoiding bad outcomes, you are extrinsically motivated. But it's not so helpful for long-term, deep, creative, and relational endeavors. Intrinsic motivation, on the other hand, occurs when engaging in an endeavor for the inherent satisfaction. You might find yourself in a flow state, absorbed in the activity and losing track of time. Not only is the activity enjoyable, this kind of pursuit contributes to overall well-being. A midlife crisis can, in part, be representative of a transition from a more extrinsic towards a more intrinsic life. Carl Jung framed the first half of life as being concerned with suppressing certain qualities in order to be successful, developing a mask called a persona to help navigate society. Sooner or later, these suppressed aspects of the self must be acknowledged and integrated or included as part of the whole self. This typically unfolds during the second half of life and is called individuation. The process of individuation can be turbulent, where suppression has been strong and persistent, manifesting as a crisis. Nearly all of our behaviour is a consequence of our trying to manage the terror of knowing we will die. According to terror management theory, when you become aware of your mortality, but you avoid confronting it, you might act to buffer yourself against coming up against this inevitability by obsessing about legacy, wealth, or extending your youthfulness. When you acknowledge and accept your mortality, your approach shifts to appreciation of what you have and treating each day as a deeply valuable gift to make the most of and experience to its fullest. Self-determination theory posits three basic needs: autonomy, relatedness, and competence. Through early life, we become shaped by the expectations of society, with our true selves becoming neglected. At the midpoint of your life, and with increased mortality salience, you might find yourself reclaiming your autonomy, choosing to approach life according to the preferences of your true self, rather than your socialized self. This can disrupt the status quo of our life and place in society, and it can be seen as a crisis. Schemas are ways of economizing energy expended by your brain. They're maps or systems of types of situations that help us shortcut ways to navigating and showing up in these situations. They're extremely useful, and without them, we might be eternal infants, which is not as good as it sounds. Engaging in every aspect of life as if it were new, without reference points for how to behave, think, or feel. Schemas can make the world feel predictable with reduced cognitive load. If something comes up that doesn't fit with a schema, it can be interpreted as an exception, or alternatively distorted to fit the schema. If something is not working for you in your life, learning about the underlying schema which maintains this issue, in addition to formulating a new schema or adapting a long forgotten schema, can help instill sustainable shifts in thinking, feeling, behaving, self and worldview. The new schema shift can be more successful when the new schema is significantly or even radically different. Occasionally, you may find that there may be an overload of input that doesn't fit with a key schema. This can happen gradually or suddenly, and beyond this threshold, exceptions or distortions may not be sufficient to provide schema maintenance. When this happens, the schema can collapse. Your identity and the beliefs about others and the world, which you took for granted, can make less and less sense, such as with an existential midlife crisis. This is the potentially messy stage, but it can be confusing and overwhelming, and you might not even be sure what you're going through at all. Next is integration. You get to know yourself, your old schemas and your emerging ones, which need a little awareness to help to construct and to knit into a new way of being that feels like a cohesive whole. We're not built to understand ourselves in isolation. The reflection we gain through therapy is hard to gain alone, but the realizations, transformations, and developments gained are all yours. This is not a quick fix or any kind of fix. It is you accessing the qualities and resourcefulness you already have, sitting down with someone who knows how to help you find it. Engaging in therapy online is a great way to do it. The whole process can remain low-key, easy to access, and in a format you can control. Research shows that online therapy is equally as effective as in-person therapy.